So here we start. So our today's topic is the science of yoga, or the Topmost yoga system. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, where Lord explains about Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, there, in the culmination of that chapter or conclusion of that chapter, Lord says that tapasvidho adhiko yogi jnanibhyo apimata adhitya karmebhyascha adhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhava arjuna. He says that amongst the austere person, yogi is great. Among the knowledge seekers, or the person who has a lot of knowledge, or person is knowledgeable, he is more advanced than the tapasvi. Then he says, no, actually it's vice versa. We'll go like this. It says that the person who works for me, or the karmi who is engaged in karmakanda activities, from him is a greater person, the person who is in knowledge. From him, more important or more developed person, the person who is austere, who is performing different sorts of austerity, as we can see in this picture. Who is performing Ashtanga Yoga, controlling the senses, mind, he. And that person is known as a yogi. Yogi means who is connected. Who is connected with the Supreme. Connected with the Supreme. That person is yogi. And that's why Lord says, oh Arjuna, you become a yogi. So let's see what is meant by yogi actually. First of all, we'll understand what yoga means. Before understanding that, we should understand what not. Generally, the misconception that today is spreading out everywhere, that people they think yoga means just a mere physical exercise for shapely body, good health, and long life. That does not mean yoga. Neither emaciated renunciate in the meditation, as we see in the other picture. The person has lost everything, become emaciated. That's not the achievement of yoga. Neither with the man who is having some extraordinary capabilities or some mystic powers that he has achieved. That's not the outcome of real yoga. Generally, the misconception of yoga means people think like that. Yoga means running around, or generally now they do yoga for what? Flat belly. They wanted to have a six-pack.
So commercialized now. That's why.
Yeah, but that does not mean yoga. Then what is yoga? So actually yoga is union in love between the individual consciousness and supreme consciousness. That is between soul and God. Yogi is a person whose life and activities are oriented towards the re-establishing his relationship with God. That is what yoga means. The process through which you get connected with the Supreme. That process is known as a yoga. And there are different types of human beings on this earthly planet. Because all these things are meant for human beings. You can't see the dogs and cats, and the people who are having that mentality will come and try to understand about yoga. It's very tough. In human beings, there are two different varieties. One, which is known as law abiders, And second, which is known as the lawbreakers. So this knowledge is not meant for the lawbreakers. They are out of our syllabus now. So we will think about the law authorities. In them, there are four categories. One is karmis, second is jnanis, third is dhyanis, and fourth one is bhaktas. The human beings who follow the nature's law and God-given scriptures, they are divided into these four categories. First is karmis, who follow the karma kanda section of the Vedas. Second is jnanis, who follow the jnana kanda. And third are the dhyanis, who follow the nivritti path of Vedic system. Nivritti path means which takes you away from the material entanglement. And that is generally taken by the dhyanis, who isolate themselves from the mass people or mass communication. They go at isolation. They go to mountains or caves, take shelter of the Mother Nature, and then live totally depending on nature, controlling their minds, senses, and concentrating on the Lord who is there in the 400 form as a super soul in the heart. And there is a fourth category of people, they are known as a bhaktas. They live with the human society, but they attain the ultimate destination of human life. And how is that we will discuss today. So for the karmis, they are into two categories. One is sakam karmi and one is nishkam. Sakam karmis are those, they perform activities to get the result. Means their all activities are result oriented. They wanted to get benefited by doing that. So there are, in Vedic culture, we can see people, they perform different sort of activities to attain something which is they think most valuable, which they can enjoy through these senses. This life or next life. They wanted to perform pious activities so they can go to the heavenly planets and enjoy the heavenly happiness. So these are the sakama karmis. Sakama means with desire. Okay? They have some desire to get fulfilled, so they perform activities. Like people, they do 21 times fasting on the Chaturdashi or maybe on Sankashi to please Lord Vinayaka. So there are some problems in family or maybe problems in financial crisis in business. So to remove that, they pray. They do particular anushఠāna. That's why they do. It's not out of love. It's out of some desire, hidden agenda that they wanted to get fulfilled. So these are some sakam karmis. Then there are nishkam karmis. They do, like a philanthropical people. They help others. They don't want anything in return. They help beggars, they help people who are like, what we call them as mentally retarded, or people who are really poor by health, by wealth. So these are the nishkam karmis. They don't desire any returns out of that activity. Then there is another class, which is lawbreakers. And who are these lawbreakers? Need to explain it? We know. Because the mass of people in this age of Kali, they are lawbreakers. They are engaged in all these activities. They don't believe in God. They think they are the God. Ishwaroham, aham bhogi, siddhoham, balvan, sukhi. I am the controller. I am the perfectionist. I am the powerful. And I am the happiest person. And they do all damn thing on the banner of happiness. Squeezing out the post Los Angeles is running on that pandang. So these are the lawbreakers. It's very hard. Sophisticated animals conditioned to the bodily concept of life. And that's why Prabhupada used to say, this modern civilization is nothing but polished animal civilization. And that we have already discussed in our first session itself, where we found out the difference between the human being and the animal. And what was that difference?
To seek knowledge.
Yes, human being, they look forward for the knowledge. They try to find the solution. They never create problems. But human beings in the form of, or animals in the form of human beings, they create a problems. And the rest of the history is there to experience with this animalistic propensities of the human being. And here, sophisticated animals conditioned to the bodily concept of life, they are the lawbreakers. Don't believe in soul, rebirth, God, and spiritual world. This particular concept is known as a Charvak Siddhanta in Vedic era. There used to be one Rishi or Muni, his name was a Charvak, and he gave this philosophy. Yavat jivet, sukham jivet. As long as you are living, live happily, royal life. Ridam kritva ghritam pive. Beg, borrow, steal, but enjoy. Take out the loan and eat nicely in a ghee. This is what Vedic civilization. Eating in a ghee means opulence, because those days real opulence is cows, and the person who has cows with him, he can enjoy, eat with the ghee. No one else. So ridam kritva ghritam pive. Hasmi bhutasya dehasya kim punaragaman. Why you have to worry about this life and this body? Because in India, when a person leaves his body, they burn his body. So it turns into ashes. That's why he says, Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kim punaragaman bhavet. Who knows that you are going to come back? Or you are going to take a rebirth? Forget about that. As long as you are there, live lavishly. Live royal, spend lavishly, and die poorly. That's what happening. That's Charvak Siddhanta. Because they don't believe in soul, they don't believe in rebirth, they don't believe in God. Now forget about the spiritual world. Because they don't have consideration for that. Then they don't discriminate between sinful and pious activities. They do whatever they think good. It pleases me, so I am doing it. Like day before yesterday, I was somewhere for some program, and there one person came with the satanic philosophy, something. I don't know what that actually. I never heard about that. And their conception is that do good, be good. But what is the conception of good? What if you feel good? Then one of the students, he asked, if I think this guy is insulting me, I should shoot him. And I think it's good. But that person said, okay, good. What's that? What sort of a philosophy is that? They don't discriminate what is good and what is bad. What is your standard to set for that? How you can consider this is good and this is bad? Because in this world, which is relative, everything, whatever I think good, it may be bad for you. Someone's food is someone's poison here. So in that regard, there must be some standard that we have to follow to understand what is good and what is bad, what is pious, what is impious, what is sinful, what is painful, or what is pious, what will give you happiness. There should be a standard. Because they deny the existence of God, they deny the scriptures, then where are the rules and regulations there? So it's like a sheer and pure animal civilization. But animal, do they follow natural law? They don't cross that. Have you seen tiger eating grass anytime? Have you seen cow eating meat anytime? Because they are law abiding, at least animals. They follow the nature's law. Have you seen any dog rest of the year mating with the female dog? There are particular 2 months in the year they go along with that. Otherwise, whole year they are brahmacharis. But with a human being, worse than the animals. So where is the proper human civilization now you can find? Everything is based on just sense gratification. That's why mass of the people, they come into this category of lawbreakers. They make futile attempts to begin to being a controller and enjoyer. Like a sand castle. They go and make castle into the sand on the shore, seashore. What happens? Waves comes and that takes out everything. And you just look back into the history. So many emperors came. Like Alexander. He went up to India. Most of the European countries he conquered. He went there. For what? He wanted to be the conqueror of the world. But what happened? Died in such a precarious condition, his own people poisoned him. And when he was dying, he asked one of his closest friends that keep my hands out of coffin. He said, what absurd desire that you have before leaving this body. He said, I wanted to show the whole world. Like at 22 or 28 years he lived for. He said, what have I earned? I created such a massacre, I killed thousands of people for the sake of this money. And now I'm dying, going empty-handed. So it's like a building a castle in the sand. You know that one day it will just, with the air, if it is in a marubhumi, what do you call it, desert, it will be swiped away by air. And it is on the bank, on the shore of the ocean, then waves will take it up. But they still try to make a big castle. You can see the whole world's economy today. It's just paper. Everything is on loan. You put some gold there and take loan against that gold and print a currency. So everything is like a paper. Everything is like a sand castle. It's not going to be permanent. Even Jesus said, don't build your castle on a sand. Build them on hard rock. What does it mean? Means do something which is substantial, which will have a long-lasting effect. And Krishna says, keep focus on the soul. Whatever you do for the soul is eternal. That's the way the human being should lead his life. Because in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, text number 27, it is said, Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma karta ahamiti mandyate. As we have discussed in our previous session about modes of material nature, how they act. They are forcing you to perform some activities in this world. You are not doing it by your own. Prakrite kriyamanani. It is acting. Gunai karmani sarvasha, through the modes of material nature. Always. As we have divided, the whole day is also divided into 3 modes. Morning is like a goodness. The whole daytime is like a passion. And night is like a ignorance. So these gunas, they are forcing us to enact in this world. And this foolish fellow, he thinks, I'm doing this. But he's mere instrument. Not the person, not a real doer. There's something else who is getting it done from him. And then what happens? That's in the 9th chapter, 20th verse. It is said, Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasaha rakshasim asarim chaiva prakritim mohin shita. Why he thinks like that? Because he is totally bewildered by the modes of material nature. And that's why all these ferocious, demonic activities he does in this world, considering himself as the doer. Then further, we have to understand about the people who are law abiders. They are like a sakam karmis. Kama means material desire and sakama means with material desire. Whatever they do, They perform pious activities with a fruitive intent, as they do some Chandrayana Vrata so that they should attain the moon planet. You can't go to moon planet just by putting some satellite and setting that and going there. That never happens. And if I have to come from India to here, I need to go through immigration, passport, this and this. Don't you think they must be having some immigration facility there also? You can't just drop down with your satellites and other things. It's a foolish thing. It's a common sense, which is uncommon today, and people think that they are more smart. Phones are becoming smart and people are becoming dumb. Huh? But with Sakam Karmis, one problem is there, that they don't understand the results of the activities what they are performing. Like, generally what happens, we see any beggar and we think that, give something, But Shastra says, as we have discussed in our previous session, that to give charity also has some rules and regulations. Whom should be given? Charity means what? When you give some charity to someone, means what?
Dana.
Dana. But what is that dana means? What you are donating?
For a greater good.
You are donating your karma to that person. Is he able to take that? Is he qualified to nullify that karma? Because money is hard-earned thing, which is related with our heart. If something we lose it, it impacts directly here. That means your whole emotions are attached with that. And that's why scripture says charity should be given to a sapatra, means the person who has a qualification to take that. Giving charity means getting rid of your sins. Now, question comes, what sort of a sin? In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, where there is a description of Avanti Brahmana, there's a nice story about Brahmana. There it is mentioned, Lord himself is giving this knowledge to Uddhava. There he says, even by virtue, with proper morality, you earn money. It come along with 15 anarthas. 15 unexpected qualities, which ruins down your moral sense. Money comes, it comes along with a abhimana. Naturally, if you get money more than others, you think that you are superior to them. So that comes with abhimana. When that abhimana comes, then dambha. Dambha means what? Pretension. Like you may be having a 1 crore, but you, or 100 millions or 10 millions, but you pretend like you are having 1,000 million. So that dambha is there. Then darpa. Darpa means arrogance. You think you can buy anything in this world. Arey paisa fek ho jayega. So this thing comes along with the money. Then if you get rid of that, if you want to get rid of that, scripture says you donate. Donate that karma to a person who can neutralize that. And who has capacity to neutralize that? Brahmana and sannyasi. Why Brahmana? Because Brahmana has a particular tendency, that is, he is asanga or anasakta. He is not attached. For example, we will see. In Dwapar Yuga, when Maharaj Yudhishthir, he wanted to get the Rajasviya Yajna. He sent Krishna. We sent all his 4 brothers to 4 directions. So Lord Krishna and Arjuna, they went to north, towards Himalayas, because all the rishis, those days, they used to stay in Himalayas. They used to perform all the karmakand, etc., everything, yajnas, on the southern part of the Bharatvarsha. And north, they used to go and reside in Himalayas or in their hermitage to perform austerities. So while going, because those days performing yajna means it's like a billions of dollars worth expenditure. And kings with a royal heart, they used to spend that. They used to give charity a lot. Mahayajna. Purnahuti means it's like sometimes the yaga or that anushthan used to go for like a month together. And after that, they used to give charities like thousands and lakhs of cows, golden ornaments, vessels, everything gold. No brass, no aluminium, no plastic. The today's civilization is plastic civilization. Prabhupada used to say, this is what development you have done. Previously, in India, we used to eat in silver plate. Now they're using a paper plate. This is what our modernization. So when they went on the way, they saw that there are heaps of golden ornaments, heaps of plates, jars, lotas, all the vessels, they were spread out. Now as you see, garbage is there everywhere. Like that, gold was lying there. You know what surprise? How all this thing they have come here? He said in the Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, the great kings, they performed huge sacrifices. And they gave in charity to the Brahmanas. And Brahmanas, they used to think, why I have to carry these loads? Dump it here. And they used to keep it. And because it's Brahmanas' wealth, nobody used to touch that. Because even king does not have any right to tax Brahmana. Because he is considered as a Bhudeva. Means demigods on the earth. So they are not, they never come under anyone's jurisdiction. You have to give charity to such a Brahmana because he takes karma, not the things what you have given. And the next thing that sannyasi is totally, he has given up everything. So if you give him something also, he will give it to someone else. He is not attached to that also. And only these people can burn your karma. So if you want to give charity, give it to them, not the beggar. If you give it to the beggar and he goes and he drinks and does some nonsense, you will suffer for that because your money has forced him to do that. If you have not given money, you would have not done that. So who is going to suffer for that? Your own act will make you suffer. Sakam karmis, they don't understand this. And that's what it is given. Don't know that both good and bad karma are binding. Even if you do good karma, you will go to heaven. But what will happen? Shriya punya madhya lokam vishanti. Once you have burned with your pious credits, they will kick you on your, and you will fall down here again to perform your activities. So that will again bind you. And bad karma will take you to the hell. So one has to be very careful.
So how would you explain Ravana doing the Mahatapasya and getting all the boons from God?
So this is again, as we have discussed in previous session, where the austerity is in different modes. Austerity, if you do in Satoguna, that austerity is for the benefit of humankind, all the mankind, for the liberation. That you wanted to get rid of this material. Austerity, in the mode of passion, is meant for certain results. Arjuna, Ravana, what he did, that was in the sheer mode of passion. Because he wanted to get a boon from Brahma, that he wanted to become immortal. That was his desire. He was doing it for that. And after becoming immortal, what he wanted to do? What was his intention?
Conquer, take over the world.
He wanted to be Ishwaroham, Om, Bhogi, Siddhom, Balvan. He wanted to be the big controller. So in which mood you are doing that austerity, what result you are looking for, that will show the result. And austerity in the mode of ignorance, That's like that Gandhi, what he has done, like a satyagraha and what else, all sort of nonsense for this political agenda. Scripture never says that, like that you should do this and then you will get that. No. These are in the mode of ignorance, and result is like that. India got divided into pieces. You got killed. What the reason? Result shows that what activity you are doing. Olena parichya, that's what they say. Generally, people they think how the person leaves his body. That shows you how he has lived the life. How he leaves the body, that shows how he has lived the life. Throughout the life, how he has behaved. That we can make it up. Is that? Sakam karmi is, it is meant for gradual elevation and not an aim in itself. By doing certain activities, you may go to heavenly planets, but that's not the aim. There are another developed and elevated personalities, they are staying above that planet also. So again, you have to work hard for that. So it's not an aim, what you are going to get it after doing Sakam karmas. Mostly they worship whom? Demigods, with the material desires. That means they are building again a castle. For a time being it will be there, but it will be not long lasting. Why? Because demigods, they are also not immortal. They are same living beings like us, but they are extra qualified. So they are getting that position. They are chosen by the Lord to perform certain activities, but they are not eternal. Why so? In Brahma's one day, they come for 17 times. Because there are 17 manvantaras. Each manvantara has a set of this 33 crores. What do you can say?
33 crore gods.
Yeah. So 33 million.
Yeah, you could say 33 million. 1 crore is actually 100 million.
10 million.
10 million is 1 crore. Yes.
Yeah. Then 33 crores.
30 million, I guess.
Huh?
1 crore is 10 million and 33 is
30 million.
30 million.
30 million gods.
30 millions of 33 millions of demigods. They have to come 17 times in one day of a Brahman. So, sorry, not 17, 14 times, because there are 14 manvantaras. So 14 times they have to come. So they don't have an eternal post. So whatever they give, it is also not eternal. Is that clear? So worshipping demigods and worshipping God is totally different. When you worship God, because being He is eternal, whatever He gives you, that has an eternal effect. And whatever you get it from the demigods, that will have a temporary effect. As long as they are there, their effect will be there. If they are gone, who will give that? Is that clear? So next we will see Sakam, Nishkam, we have seen. Then what sort of a yoga or what types of yogas has discussed in Bhagavad Gita? There are 4 types. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 types of yoga: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. These are not different paths, but are the different rungs of the same ladder. Karma, Jnana, Dana, and Bhakti. If you start with a karma, one day or another, you are going to reach the karma because it's upward. And that's why it is called as a yoga ladder. All other yogas are the subsets of these 4 yogas. How? That we'll discuss it now. like a Nishkam Karma Yoga. We have seen the Sakam Karmis, now Nishkam Karmis. Their act is considered here as a yoga. Why? Because ultimately it connects them with the Lord. How it connects? That is explained here. In Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, text number 13. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasaha naishar nirmama bhutva yudhyasva vigata chvaraha. O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires of profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So what are the symptoms of this Nishkam Karma Yoga? First is surrendering all the works to the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Second, that karma which is performed with the full knowledge of their Lordship and without desire of any profit. And fourth one, no claim for the proprietorship. If you do that sort of a karma, that is known as a Nishkama Karma. And generally, in previous eras, delivering a knowledge is considered as a Nishkama Karma. Because there is no, what we can say, written benefits that they aspire for. The thing that this is going forth for the next generation, it will come on.
Paying it forward.
Paying it forward. Then next thing, process of performing work without selfish desire for personal gain. All spiritual activities, they are based on this. Then art of working without entanglement. As Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Padma Patra Iva Amprasad. Means like a lotus flower or lotus leaf. Even though it is on the water. But have you seen any time it is wet? It never gets wet. Water never stands on it. Immediately it falls down. And as Jesus says in the Bible, that be in the world, but not of the world. If you want to live in this world, live in the world, but not for the world, not of the world. And that's the art of working, without any entanglement. Like a fish. When the fisherman, he catches a fish, he puts in one particular basket and he tries to cover it. Why? Because as soon as he gets and puts it down in that basket, it tries to jump away from it. It never gets entangled by others. But it happens with the crabs. If you put one crab, put another one, the first one will not let the another one to go out of that. It will drag his other legs. You can see that because they never cover, they never put lid on the crab's basket. It is always open because they know not a single will allow the other one to come out. So Nishkam Karma is like that, like a fish. It jumps out and takes, because it's not attached. It's not with any material motivation. Then Bhagavad Gita it says that karmanyevadi karyaste ma phaleshu kadachan. If you ask any layman in India what Bhagavad Gita says, Are Bhagavad Gita bolti hai karma karo. Bhagavad Gita says just do your work. Then in their language, the most wonderful karma yogi is donkey. Because donkey also works without any desire. But that's not the karma yogi. Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan. You should not desire anything, the outcome of that karma. But do it for me. That's what Lord says. Do it for the Lord, for the sake of Lord. It's not for the human in general or for your liberation. Because again, if you do it for your liberation, that is again desire, entanglement. So when you do it for their Lordship, as per his instruction, then that becomes a Nishkam Karma Yoga. So here in previous verse we can see, lastly Lord says, Yudhyasva, fight. He's not saying that Arjuna leave that, go into Himalayas, sit there and it's not. He said, Tasmat Anusmara Yudhyacha. Remember me and fight. That will be Nishkam Karma Yoga for them. Because he's following the instruction given by the Lord.
Without lethargy.
Without any lethargy. Don't be dumb for that. Just get out of the lethargy and fight. Then, if you perform Nishkam Karma Yoga, the next elevation of your consciousness is to the Jnana Yoga, where you will have knowledge about the impersonal feature of the Lord. Brahma Jyoti, that's what we call it. And they are known as the Brahmavadis, Jnanis. In this particular yoga or this particular process, elevation process to spiritual consciousness through the cultivation of philosophical knowledge. Here, person comes on that platform where he studies the scripture, where he tries to understand his own existence in this world. He is different from the matter. And if he has to get real pleasure, he has to get out of the entanglement of matter. And for that, he cultivates the philosophical knowledge. This path, Lord says, Avyakta asakta chetasa klesho adhikaras tesha. It is troublesome. The people who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Lord, their path, Lord himself says in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it's klesho adhikaras tesha. It's a troublesome. But the most glorious thing about this particular process is the person who is in the knowledge, or who is like a Brahman realized, a transcendentalist who has really attended the impersonal feature of the Lord. If he comes in contact with the pure devotee of the Lord, he can become devotee. And we have an example for that. Like Chatush Kumaras, the first 4 sons, the first created progenitors by Brahma, they are like a Chatush Kumar. They were Brahmavadis. When they came in contact with the devotees, they became a devotee. Shukadev Goswami, he was a born Brahmavadi. When he got conceived, he stayed in mother's womb for 18 years. Can you imagine? Then Vyasadevji, he has to go to Dwarka. He called up the Lordship. He said, come and see what's happening. It's not normal, not a natural at all. The baby should come out at the 10th month. And he's staying for the last 18 years. How? The Lord came and he asked, why you are not coming out? He said, my Lord, I'm really happy here. Because I know once I will come out, your Maya will trap me immediately. At least here, each and every second I can remember you. I can see your wonderful 400 form. And if I come out, I'm sorry. Your Maya is so strong, she will trap me. I can come out, but you have to promise me that if I come out, your Maya will not trouble you. She will not put her trap on me. Lord said, okay, no worries, come on. He came and he just went out. He started walking through the forest. Vasudev thought, what's happening? I wanted a son for some purpose. And without fulfilling that purpose, he's just walking away from us. What is that? He lost it, okay. And as he was walking, he passed by the lake where all young, beautiful girls, they were taking bath and they were like naked in the water. And When they saw him, they never bothered. They were just happy. But as soon as they saw Vyasadeva who was running behind him, immediately few girls, they just took up the lotus leaves and they covered their body themselves. Few of them, they just went down underneath water. And they was confused. He said, I'm like a great-grandfather for these all girls. And why they are so shy of me? And not of my son, who is like just 18 years old and handsome, beautiful. And they are not bothered about that. Then he asked curiosity, why is it so? Then they said, being a grahastha, you have a tendency to differentiate male and female. But your son, being a Brahmavadi, or who was elevated in such a way that he sees only a soul. He never saw us as beautiful girls. He never saw our body, he just saw a soul. He saw the soul. And that's why we never bothered. Because he don't have that desire, anything in his heart. He's pure. Now then Vasudev thought that I can attract him only by narrating the wonderful pastimes of the Lordship. So what he did, he sent 3 of his disciples and he told them that wherever he is sitting, you just go around and start singing the wonderful shlokas from Srimad Bhagavad. And they did that. And as soon as he heard this wonderful one shloka in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains that what a beauty that Lord has and how he enters into Vrindavan after coming back from the Kaupash. Varha Pidam Natavara Vapuhu Karunayo Karanikaram. There is a wonderful description about the Lord's feature. Here, Vasudev says that Varha Pidam, the Lord is so beautiful and he is decorating his hairs with peacock feather. Natavara Vapuhu, and he is so beautiful and handsome that he looks like a Natavara Vapuhu. Means generally actors in dramas, you see the actors, they well decorated, well dressed. They are more attractive and handsome. They capture everyone's attention. So he is a Natavara Vapuhu. He is topmost among all the actors. Karunayo Karanikaram, and he has decorated his ears with the Karanika flowers. One red color flowers, they look very beautiful actually. Because whenever Lord he used to go to the forest, all his friends, they used to decorate him with the different flowers. Karunayo Karanikaram, Bibhrada Vasa Kanata Kapisham, Vaijayantim Chamalam. And he is wearing wonderful pitambar, dhoti, the lower garments. And they were like Bibhrada Vasa Kanata Kapisham. They were like a lightning, dazzling, that we can say. Vaijayantim Chamala, and he is having a beautiful garland of Vaijayanti flowers. Actually, there are five different kinds of flowers. They're really most attractive in the whole creation. So this garland is made of that 5 different flowers. Vaijayantim Chamala. And then what he does? Randran Adhara Venu Purayan. Through his lips, he is pouring nectar into the flute. Gopa Vrinda, Vrindaranya Swamadagaramanam Pravishat Geeta Kirti. And he is entering in Vrindavan, and other cowherd boys, they are glorifying his activities, what he has performed throughout the day. Shukadeva Goswami, when he heard of that, question came in his mind. Such a beautiful person. I never heard about that. Can I see him? Can I take shelter of him? And the disciples who were around, being the disciples of Vyasadeva, They were able to know what's going on in your mind. Immediately they understood that what's going on in Shukadeva Goswami's mind. And they chanted the another verse from Srimad Bhagavad. Aho bakiyam sanagala kutam jighansayayam apapa sadavi. Leve gatim dhatruchitam pananyam kamvadayalam sharanam prapatya. Here they glorified their Lordship with the evil intention. One demoness, Bhakti, the sister of Bakasur, Putana, she came with the evil intention to kill their Lordship. She smeared the Kalakuta poison on her breast and she wanted to breastfeed their Lordship. And Lord, he accepted that. And what he gave her? Dhatri. He has given her a place next to Yashoda Maya in Golok Vrindavan. That's the ultimate thing. Like a mother, he has given a position. Who came with the evil intention to kill her, to kill him. He is so merciful. Lastly, he asked question, Kamva Dayalu, do you find anyone compassionate like this? The person who has come with the evil intention to kill him, he has given him a liberation and the place which is most adorable. And then Shukadeva Goswami just got up and he said, I wanted to see that person. Show me where is he. Then they said, come back to your father. He will let you know. And then he came back. And then Vyasadeva ji has narrated the whole Srimad Bhagavad, which we are enjoying today. So the Brahmavadi impersonal is like a Shukadeva Goswami. He became a devotee when he came in contact with the devotee. So this Jnana Yoga, which leads you up to the Brahman realization, in that state, if you get association of a pure devotee, you can become a devotee. And then starts the Bhakti Yoga. Sorry.
What was that analogy with frog in the well?
Oh, that's like Jnanis, they have a limitations. They don't go beyond that. Like Prabhupada used to give example, Dr. Frog. One day what happened, one frog who was living in the ocean, he came to the well. And there was a Mr. Frog. He was sitting, then he asked, from where you have come? He said, I came far from the ocean. He said, what is that ocean? He said, it's the large body of water. He said, how big? This much, this much, this much, this much. Then he started jumping from one end of the well to the another end. So his consideration of the ocean is limited. So same way, after acquiring so much knowledge from the Vedas, to understand their Lordship, this Vedic knowledge will also not help you. It has its own limitations. Because we attain or acquire knowledge through our senses. And we have discussed, we have 4 defects. Senses are imperfect, mind is troublesome, have cheating tendencies, always confused. So we can't get this knowledge. And through knowledge we can't understand the actual person who is the Supreme Personality of the God. So that's the example. As that frog can't understand by his own speculation or his own references what is ocean. So same way we can't understand through the Vedic knowledge that who is Lord. He is beyond that. Then how to understand that person? The next step, after getting a knowledge, one tries to control his senses. And that is known as Ashtanga Yoga. Meditative process meant to control the mind, senses to focus one's concentration on the Supreme. So it has a different parts. What is this Ashta and Anga? Ashta means 8, Anga means limbs. So this Ashtanga Yoga has 8 limbs. What are they? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. So first is Yam. Means what not to do. Then there is a niyam, what you have to do. When you follow this, yam and niyam, then you will be able to perfect one of the yogic postures, which is known as the asana. Then comes pranayama. When you are able to sit in particular posture for specific period of time, then you are considered as mastered that particular asana. Then you are able to control the prana in the body, which is known as a prana ayama. Ayama means controlling the prana. Nowadays, people take it so cheaply. Yoga means just what? Few of the things they do and they think, oh, it's very difficult. They call themselves as a yogi or yogini. Does it make sense? Just by doing some posture, which is you are not perfected in that. You are calling yourself as a yogi or yogini.
Most of them don't believe in any.
There is no yam, no niyam.
And most of them don't believe in any sort of God either. And most of them would also say the coin phrase, I'm not religious but spiritual. You hear it all the time.
Yeah. The whole purpose of yoga is to connect or union with the Lord. That is missing. Then what they are doing is just a physical exercise, nothing else. You can't define it as a yoga.
It's a contradiction.
It's totally topsy-turvy way. After pranayama, there is a pratyahara. If you control your prana, there are 10 different sorts of airs in the body. 5 mukhya pranas and 10 upa pranas. Controlling them. After controlling them, then pratyahara. Pratyahara means totally giving up yourself from the external world. That is pratyahara. And then dharana. After getting totally isolated from all sort of material disturbance, you will be able to dharana. Dharana means you are capable to retain something with you. And what is that? Dhyana. Dhyana means the concentration on one particular object. That you will be able to retain it for a long time. So that is called dhyana. And what is samadhi? Means attaining that object. And what is the object of yoga, Ashtanga yoga? Tat pada darshanam means seeing the lotus feet of the Lord who is there as a super soul in your heart. That's what the Patanjali yoga says. Seeing the personal feature of the Lord which resides in your heart as a Paramatma. That's the ultimate samadhi. And this is what altogether known as the Ashtanga yoga. Not the gymnastic what they do nowadays. Then further it is explained, Ashtanga yoga has a strict rules and regulations which are impractical in Kali Yuga. What to speak of Kali Yuga? They were impractical for Arjuna in the Treta Yuga even. And Arjuna was the person, can you imagine? He is known as a Gudakesha. Gudak means sleep and Isha means controller. He had a full control on his sleep. Once he was having his food at night and there was some lamp was burning. And that got off because of blowing wind. And still Arjuna was kept eating. He was surprised. Even though I am not able to see anything, but my hand is exactly going in my mouth. I don't have to put in some extra endeavor. So from that day, he started practicing even at night. And thus he became one of the foremost archer. He was such a person, and he says, Chanchali mana Krishna pravati balavat dhradam tasya ham nigraham mande vayoriva sudishkara. Empty-handed, I can stop the blowing wind, but I can't stop my mind. He said, it looks me impractical to follow this Ashtanga Yoga. Anjali Malakrishna, that's what Arjuna says. And problem with this, because if you do it for a certain period of a time, there are few mystic potencies you may attain. That may be the outcome of your austerities. And because of that, you will lose your potencies. There is an example of a Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni, he was so austere because he conquered the material elements. He was able to go underneath the water, sit there, and he can meditate. Can you imagine? No oxygen cylinders. Without oxygen cylinder, he was sitting underneath the water and he was meditating. But he excelled everyone in that particular art of going underneath the water and sitting there and performing austerity. But one day what happened? He offended one devotee. And who was that? That was Garuda. Because Saubhari Muni was performing his austerities in the waters of Yamuna in Vrindavan. And Garudji, being a bird, his food is fishes. So he used to come every day, he used to pick up one fish, he used to eat and go. So all the fish who were staying in the water, they got disturbed and they approached Saubhari Muni, help us out. And he felt compassionate to them and he said, he cursed Garuda. If you come and take a fish from here, you will die. You can't do that because Jiva Jiva Sijana, it's his food. He can't live without that. And you can't curse that person. And he did that. And what happened? Because of Vaishnava Aparad, one day while he was meditating, he saw that two fish are mating. He saw the loving exchanges between the fish and his mind got agitated. He came out of the water. He got married with a 50 princess and he totally forgot about his austerities. The person who conquered the material elements, who can stay underneath the water, got bewildered by seeing two fish and got married with a 50 princess and ended up with the losing of his austerity. So the mystic opulences, what you may get as an outcome or byproduct of this, may cause you fall down. So this Ashtanga Yoga is very difficult. And ultimately, the perfection of Ashtanga Yoga is to focus on the Paramatma within our heart. Should I continue? Because there are three different levels of understanding the God. One is Brahma Jyoti, the external effulgence of the Lord, which can be known through Jnana Yoga. Next is Paramatma realization, the 400 form which eternally resides in our heart. That you can understand through Ashtanga Yoga. It is like a more personal now. Then third is personal form of the Lord, which can be known through Bhakti Yoga. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is explained, Vadanti tattvas tattvavidam tattvam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdati. That absolute truth is known in threefold forms. Brahmajyoti is external light. Paramatma is 400 form which resides in everyone's heart. And Bhagavan, who has the 6 opulences and who is eternal. All the three things are eternal, but the Bhagavan, that is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth. And that is only can be done through Bhakti Yoga. So, for example, seeing a mountain. From a distance, if you see, like from a 10 kilometers, what you can see as a mountain? You can see there is a upraised portion of the earth, which is really huge, has some blackish blue color. Huh? When you go closer, what happens? Then you can see that black, blue or green color is not just colored, but these are the trees with the different colors. There are some shadows which seems to be like a black color. Bluish color is like another bush of the trees, and then there. If you go further more, then what happens? What is meant by mountain? From the distant, mountain means just shade of colors and mount of earth, nothing else. When you go closer, what is meant by mountain? There are some shrubs, there are some stones, there are some trees. Okay. Modes that you can relate yourself with the Lord. That is Bhagavan realization. So Bhakti Yoga, it is yoga for selfless, ecstatic love for the God, total transcendental devotional service to the Lord. And easiest means to derive our dominant, inherent constitutional position. Includes three terms: servitor, serve, and service. Bhakta, Bhagavan, Bhakti, Bhagavan, Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. And there are 9 different sorts of services that you can render, through which you can get connected with the Lord. And what are those? Shravana, hearing about the Lord. Second, Kirtan, chanting about the Lord and His glories. Third is Smarana, remembering the Lord. Fourth one, Pada Sevana, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Worshipping that Supreme Personality of the God with different upacharas or ingredients. And Vandana, offering prayers to their Lord. That is a part of our devotion. If you just simply go, hold your hands in front of Lord and just praise Him, that's a great art. That pleases the Lordship. Then Dasyam, being a servant of Him. Then Sakyam, having a friendship with Him. And the last one is Atma Nivedana, surrendering fully at His lotus feet. The most powerful of the 9 processes of Bhakti is hearing and chanting of the Lord's holy name. And this age of a Kali, the culmination of all yogas is Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Geeta, 3rd chapter, it's the 6th chapter. It's 3rd chapter, 30th verse. Yoginam api sarvesham madhyate antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma same yukta tamo mata. Of all the yogis, the one with a great faith who always abides in me, think of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me is the most intimately united with me in yoga and the highest of all. That is my opinion. Actually, this verse is from that's the conclusion of Dhyana Yoga. Is that?
6th chapter. I think it ends.
Yeah, there, that's 47. Open that. There. The other page. There. You have to go back. Here.
26.
What it says?
Pradhyanto Yamush Amam.
Oh, this is not Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
You got Bhagavad.
Srimad.
That's it. So ultimately, Lord says that who with the faith engages himself in the chanting of his holy name and Yoginam Api Sarvesham, Madgaten Antaratmana Shraddhavanya Bhajatemam Samayukta. And all the yogis, he who always abides in me with a great faith, worshipping me in a transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Sakshat Atma Prabhaveshwaram Na Bhajante Avajananti Sthanat Bhrashta Patantyana. The people through Ashtanga Yoga who never take shelter of the Lord who is there in the heart, he says that Sthanat Bhrashta Padantyana, they will fall down and they will get entangled in this material world. So through the devotional service or Bhakti Yoga, one can attain the personal feature of the Lord. So we'll start from we'll try to go on the ladder. So we'll start what will be the first step? First step is like a routine worker performing rituals. Karma kand. Okay, that is Sakam Karmi. The first one, what we have discussed about. Second step is like a Karma Yoga or Nishkama Karma, renouncing the fruits of one's labor. Higher than that is knowledge about the Brahman plus austerity. That's the symptom of Jnana. Then what is Ashtanga Yoga? Renouncing fruits, knowledge, controlling the mind and senses by eightfold of power, and meditation on the super soul in the heart. That's on Pratma. And higher to that is, after starting meditating on the Lord, rendering loving devotional service to Him. That is called Bhakti. And that's the direct method to attain the Lordship. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method. It involves two stages. One is Vaidhi Bhakti and second is Raganuga Bhakti. What is meant by this Vaidhi Bhakti? Vaidhi Bhakti means performing devotional service with following some standard rules and regulations. There are 64 rules and regulations they are given to perform a devotional service. If you don't follow that rules, then you can't make progress in your devotional service. And when someone is perfect, when he starts performing Raga Anuga Bhakti, Raga Anuga. Raga means mellows, with a mood. This Sakya, Shanta, Vatsalya, serving their Lordship in a Shantarasa, serving their Lordship in a friendship, serving their Lordship in a parenthood, serving their Lordship as a friend, serving their Lordship as a servant, and serving their Lordship as a paramour. So these are the Raganuga Bhaktis, where you do render service with there are no rules and regulations for that. Like, if you are a friend of the Lordship, you can go and jump on his shoulder. That you can't do in Vaidhi Bhakti, that I will just go and jump on Radha Madhava's shoulder. I can't do that. Huh? Because each thing has its own rasa, melo. And that you can enjoy it in Raganuga Bhakti. But to reach there, you have to follow the Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulations. I think we will have one session on this particular. What is Vaidhi Bhakti and what is Raganuga Bhakti. Then the direct method is like taking an elevator for going up instead of walking up all these steps. And here is the example. Great Wall of China. On the other side you have an elevator. So what do you want to choose? People with the cholesterol and other things, they will think that we will climb up there. Really, because heart is blocked because of so many karmas, jnanas, this and that. So you can't go to their lordship directly. But if you really wanted to make progress, then you should take a lift. And that is Bhakti Yoga. And that is the topmost yoga system to get connected with their lordship. And in the age of Akali, that happens with chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The topmost yoga system is Bhakti Yoga. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedam. Iti Pumsar Pitat Vishnu Bhaktische Navalakshana. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says. This is what the ninefold devotional service that a human being can perform or offer it to their lordship. So this is our end of introduction to Bhagavad Gita. The 7th session, which is known as a Topmost Yoga system. So from next, we'll start topics from this only, but with greater details. So next, our topic is about gods and demigods, or God and demigods. Correct. So any question, any comment?
Is there a certain, the latter is like we talked about, can you attain one before the other, or the progression, the progressive
It's in a
course?
progression. If you go through this yoga ladder, like Sakam Karma, if you do it properly, that will force you to perform Nishkam Karma. If you are doing that Nishkam Karma Yoga, then you will get a desire to know about it. Why I am doing it actually? When that why comes, then you are qualified to attain the Jnana Yoga. But after doing this Jnana, then you may think, I am not that happy actually. And I have a desire to get more happiness. That means something is there. I have to look for that. And what is that? Then he works on the Ashtanga Yoga, controlling senses, doing this, doing that, and controlling his mind and concentrating on the Lord, who is there in the heart. Then thought comes in the mind. Still, I am not that happy. Just by meditating on his spirit. There is something which is higher than this. Relation. How I can relate myself with this person. I'm just seeing him now, but he's so attractive. As Shukadeva Goswami, he had a desire. Oh, he's so wonderful. And how I can relate him. Then comes the Bhakti. Open the Bhagavad Gita and 8th chapter, last verse. The person who renders devotional service, he's getting interested in devotional service, means he has done everything else in his previous lifetimes. And that's why he has reached to this stage where he can get attracted to devotional service. Vedeshu yadneshu tapassu chaiva jnaneshu yad punya phalam pradishtam atyeti matva. What is the next?
Atyeti tattva mandi viditva
Atyeti tattvam iti viditva yogim sthano upaiti chatyam. Read the translation. Next there. Translation.
A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft.
Little bit loud. She has to hear.
The person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitful activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode.
That's mean whoever renders devotional service, he has achieved all these yogas. He don't have to do anything extra then. No need for him to close his nose and do all sort of things. He just has to chant. Take shelter of the Lord. Chant his glories. Okay? You are most welcome to perform this topmost yoga, Bhakti yoga. Hi. Thank you for tolerating me for last 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Thank you, brother.
We have one class on the rasas.